Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
Alrighty, good morning. This is Ray and Kyle with To the Root of It from the Leslie Lewis Pavilion at the Yamhill County Fairgrounds. Boy, that's a mouthful.
Boy, that is where we are, and it is really loud in here because we just opened the doors, and there is a flood of people coming in and looking at the flowers and plants and everything. Yamhill County Master Gardener's annual plant sale, and we are in the thick of it.
Well, it was actually a pretty decent line this morning. There was just a little over 150, maybe 200 people actually waiting in line, and they're coming in with their boxes in their hands. We do have a few boxes, but if you want big boxes or sturdy boxes, you might want to bring your own.
Right.
But come on down. The party's on.
Right.
We're happening.
It is really exciting because it's just begun, and people have just started picking out all of their things. And I think that we talked about this just briefly before the show, but normally as Master Gardeners, as soon as 9 o'clock hits, you can go ahead and pick out the plants that you want before the locusts come and ravage the whole section. But this year we're on the radio right now, so there's
you ain't doing no shopping.
And picking what we want. There's no.
There'll be lots left later. I remember the first time I went to a plant sale, and I went around about 8:30 in the morning, and I had this armload of like sun gold tomatoes and a couple of cucumbers and a squash, and I had this armload of stuff, and little Polly come up behind me and she says, "Ray, step away from the tables. You don't have to put them down this time because you're a rookie, but step away from the tables."
Right.
And you can't argue with Polly because...
No, and it really is the past few years that I've been here waiting for those doors to open, because I've scouted everything out, and I did that pretty much yesterday while we were setting up. I came here and I looked at the kinds of things that I wanted and I needed, but there were a few succulents that weren't actually here this year. I wanted to get some more hens and chicks. I didn't see those out here, but there are a lot of other succulents, because that's what I'm looking for right now is ground cover. I think the first year that I did the plant sales, it was all vegetables. You get all of the edibles and things like that. And then last year I did a lot of the shrubs and perennials, the things that would come back. And this now I need ground cover because all I have is bark dust just covering this thing. And the latest Google satellite of my property just shows this barren dirt garden. They took it at the wrong time of the year or something like that. But it's just
Lord.
This brown patch of nothingness.
Well, there's sedums over there in every conceivable color you could possibly want.
Exactly.
And we're standing here next to Red Ridge Farms, which also has some of the most delightful perennials that are not for sale by the Master Gardeners.
Well, and that is really, you bring up a good point. It's not just the Master Gardeners plant sale. There are vendors here.
I think there's 16 vendors.
Not only inside, but we also have them outside.
Yeah.
It's usual suspects for a lot of it, and they've got some really pretty nurseryfied plants themselves here too. I'm looking at some flowers, and it's beautiful over there, isn't it?
Well, over there, there's hanging things, wind chimes, garden flags, banners, and then in the corner are trees, decorative trees with, I see like 4 colors of leaves just standing in the corner.
Right.
And then over there is Bernard's Farms with their hanging baskets of freesia and petunias and tomatoes and all kinds of stuff. The community school from Newburgh has got plants for sale. In the back is the Yamhill County Master Gardeners clinic desk area.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. We will maybe we can grab somebody from the clinic desk at some point in the show. But that's where you can, if you have a problem with your plant, you can bring in that problem, and we can maybe diagnose it or otherwise send it to the lab, as they say, which is just a higher-up person. But we also do the soil tests here, so if you want to bring in a tablespoon of your soil, we can tell you what the pH level is on it. Not a lot of people think that we can go into the chemical composition of it, but that's something that actually has to be done in a lab,
yes,
somewhere far off, and you pay money for that. However, knowing the pH of the soil is really important because we're looking for about a 6 to 7 in most of the plants that you're going to be buying at a plant sale.
Did you know that the Master Gardener pH testing has finally gone technical?
Yes.
I was amazed after 10 years of actual hand pH stirring and waiting and testing and taking about 15 minutes to get a pH. Now we have a probe.
And you know the story behind that, and the story behind that is last year at this very plant sale, a gentleman came in to test his pH to his soil, but he brought in 3 different pH testing apparati, and he wanted to test it against what he thought ours would be far more advanced. But it was just a chemical dropper to test it, and he had brought in these electric rods and all of these things, and we actually we learned from it last year, and we purchased our own, and it's a little bit more technical than staring at a card.
Well, the beauty of him actually testing his apparatus against our hand mixers was that our hand mixers and color guessers, if you will, were actually pretty accurate.
We were pretty
so
accurate.
So it wasn't, it wasn't a total waste of time for all these years. It just took a lot of time.
It's just right. It's just there are faster ways to do it, and it's just one of those learning things. There's technology out there for it. But yeah, if you're out there listening and you want to come down and test your soil, if you have a plant problem, if you have spots on a leaf that you don't know why they're there, just throw it in a Ziploc bag, bring it down.
It's free.
Yeah.
And the parking's free. Right now, parking's a little crowded out there.
You actually took the furthest parking spot there is possible.
Well, that's because I had to drive the Beast this morning. And the Beast doesn't park well with other cars.
Yeah, but you found the furthest corner, muddiest.
I put it clear out in a corner all by itself, and it'll be just happy as a clam sitting there till I get done.
Nobody's door is going to bang into
I may move it closer when it comes shopping time, though.
Right. Exactly.
I'll bring it up with the rest of the big cars. Oh, my God, look at that geranium.
Oh, are you looking? You getting plant envy right now? Feel like you should have a plant. You should be holding a plant that you're about to buy.
Oh,
it's funny.
man.
I'm looking at 9-bark right now, and the thing about the 9-bark is it's got those purpley green leaves, and it really says Northwest as far as a color palette for me. And I have 3 or 4 of them that I don't even take care of, and yet they survive. I feel like I need to water them, but I don't, and they're out in my clay soil. And they deal with it. They're one of those water-wise plants, I think.
They're actually fairly deer-resistant as well.
Yes.
Besides having good color and being very durable as far as cold weather, they're Northwest natives and do so many things for your garden as far as color, shape.
Because they do fill out. They grow really fast as long as you, just like any other of these perennial plants, if you give them water, they'll grow. And they'll grow, for the most part, especially around here, they'll grow pretty rapidly. But in my case, I just test the limits of those plants.
Well, they're fairly durable. They will actually be quite happy with whatever God provides in the way of rain.
Yeah.
And unless it gets really hot, then it's nice if they got a little shade too, because they are shade dwellers out in the real world.
Absolutely.
But anyway, we're down here at the Yamhill County Master Gardener Plant Sale for 2014, and we've got probably a good 300-400 people in here right now.
And it's a pretty good thing that we're indoors because it's cold out there. I actually overheard a master gardener say that out on their place it got down to 32 last night.
I had frozen moisture on the windshield of the Beast.
Wow. I did not have that
right
problem out
downtown.
on my farm, but right now, we're battling those clouds. We're supposed to have a little scattered showers this morning a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's and fog. We got a little high fog.
That was incredible fog this morning when I woke up. When I woke up this morning, the whole hillside was just all foggy, and I like that.
Did it come down to like a little layer?
It came down to my nose.
Burr. Yeah, it's still mid-spring no matter how you look at it, and we don't expect to be frost free.
That's right.
Until like the 15th of May. So if you do come down to the plant sale and you get a whole bunch of tomato plants and it warms up to 80 degrees next week like it's promised, you might want to just exercise a little restraint about putting them puppies in the dirt.
You are adamant about waiting until the 1st of June at the very least, right?
Or, well,
did you have a horrible experience once?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I killed everything one spring.
See, exactly. So you got to avoid doing that for the rest of your life. However, man, sometimes you can just push the boundaries and just get them in there, and you'll get a lot more product. And the other thing is, I did go to Tucson last week, and I can't. That's why we're actually we've got dueling hats here. I didn't realize that until now. But went down to Tucson, and the tomato plants already have the tomatoes on them. The Sun Golds, the resort I was staying at, they had a chef's garden, and they already had the green tomatoes on there. So.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, it's.
But it's Tucson.
Well, exactly. Spring's happening. Summer's happening basically down there right now. But
spring is crawling this way.
But you don't want to put those tomatoes in the ground right now. The good things to put in the ground that you might get at the plant sale, those shrubs, the ground covers, but none of the vegetables. Do you think you want to put in? No. You don't want to put in the cucumbers right now that they have available. They've got lemon cucumbers. Have you ever seen these things? They're circular, round, yellow cucumbers.
Little tennis ball?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, the little yellow tennis ball. Man, are they good, though. They're low acid. They don't make you burp or do any other weird stuff.
That's right.
Them bodily sound things.
Yep. So, what else do we have? Right near us?
Well, we're right here by the perennials, and there's a half a table of hostas. There's a half a table of fuchsias. There's a half a table of herbs, spiky things, agaves, indoor plants, and right here, this vendor has some of the most beautiful things in bloom that you've ever possibly. Varieties of petunias that I've never seen before. I've never seen a yellow and orange. What we're going to have
to do is we're going to have to take a break right now. Okay. We'll go ahead and explore just a little bit just to see what is out there right now. We've got pictures already posted to the KLYC Facebook page if you're interested in looking at that. But come down here. We're at the Yamhill County Fairgrounds at the Leslie Lewis Pavilion. You can't really miss us. There is a horse show going on.
Yep.
Conveniently enough,
I'll go check the parking.
Yes, exactly. Thanks for checking the parking, Ray.
Alrighty.
But we'll take a break right now. You're listening to The Root of It right here on KLYC 1260 AM.
In retrospect, right? So this week I'll be up here.
Yeah, it's definitely time to upgrade them.
Just take that. Kind of pressure off.
Well, I know we converted one more listener to KLYC, so I'll tell them to add to the listening here. The plant sale ad. That's funny. Don Donner. That's really good music for Windfire. Really good background.
Yeah, the localness.
Okay.
Wow.
That's our new extension agent. We need to get her here. It's her first year. And here we are, we're back. This is To the Root of It, and this morning we're doing live broadcast from the Yamhill County Fairgrounds. This is the 2014 Master Gardener Plant Sale and Vendor Fair, and oh my God, what a party. There's hundreds of people in here, and if you
and I can attest to that. I just swam through them. It was incredible. Everybody... It doesn't look like, it seems like everybody's here with a plan. They know what they're going to get, and they're going right after, and they're sticking right around that area. You don't see too many walking zombies, like just inundated, too much stimulus or something like that.
The basic cruising shopper,
right? Exactly.
It's not happening. People come here with lists either in their pocket or in their brain. Here comes... Rick and Candy, the mayor has come.
Nice. That's great. What's really great is to be able to see the tall people that show up too. As I was walking through, just suddenly you see somebody that has 2 feet just jutting up, and I'm looking at a kid right now on shoulders, and wow.
Oh yeah, he's like the little up periscope shopper for Dad. He's got an eye on where did Mom go. Dad's using him to find Mom. I'll bet you anything.
That is an incredible technique. You're probably right with that. We did have stuff to talk about too, and not just the description of the plant sale, because I think one of the things that can be just mind-boggling for the novice gardener, the person just getting started, is the things that are here in the technical terms. Because, for instance, we're right in front of the perennials, and perennials is probably one of the 2 terms you should know about when you're dealing with your garden, and when you're dealing with the other one being annuals. So you've got your perennials and your annuals. So the perennials are the ones that come back year after year.
They also can be those that self-seed.
Mm-hmm.
So that the plant from this year may die, but it does self-seed, and then those seeds winter over. Sometimes they actually are required to have cold or frost to crack the seed barrier, and then they come back next year. Now annuals, that's a one-shot thing. They're grown from seed each year. They're generally things that are not weather tolerant. They need warmer atmosphere. They need dirt that's 45 degrees or warmer for their roots to even function.
Right, and one of those aha moments that I had is when I learned that the tomato is a perennial. But we here in the temperate climates treat it as an annual because it can't live through our winters. As soon as it hits below 40 or so, it's just gone. So it can't survive it. So that's why we replant it every year. But we were in its native tropical warm location where the winters are mild 50s, 60s. It just keeps going. It'll last years. The tomato vine will. So That was pretty interesting
Well,
and mind-blowing to learn that it is a perennial, but we treat it as an annual.
It's also it's not a vegetable. It's a fruit.
Every school kid, that's the
Every
only fact they
school
know
kid.
about tomatoes. All they know is just that it is a fruit and not a vegetable.
We have an interesting person here to interview. This is Heather Stoven, and she's
You're gonna double mic it?
Am I?
No, you want to use your mic.
And give her that mic. There we go.
You're just like that, and now we're all
Okay, now we're all one big happy family. Anyway, this is Heather Stoven, who is our new extension agent here in staff chair, home horticultural specialist. Is that close?
It's close enough, yeah. Yeah, community horticulturalist and small farms.
Okay.
Master Gardener Program Coordinator.
Yep. Welcome.
Whole bunch of things.
Welcome to welcome to our hood.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be a part of this whole event and Master Gardener Program in general.
Well, this kind of gives you a good idea of what the Master Gardener Program can produce. It's a party.
Absolutely. It's been really fun. I've worked a little bit in preparation for this event. I went out to the greenhouse and saw everybody preparing for this, all the plant material and tagging, and then coming here yesterday and seeing everybody set up tables and put all the plants out. And it really was fun. The volunteers really have a lot of energy and enthusiasm that they bring.
Yeah, I was here yesterday too, and it was really amazing. It's always amazing to see the worker ants just line up in their rows and just pass the trays and get it loaded into the back of the truck. The truck drives 100 feet and then it gets offloaded, but everybody's in their line, and it got done really fast yesterday.
Really
I was pretty
did.
impressed with
Yeah.
that.
We used to schlep these plants clear over to the armory
Oh my gosh.
over behind Evergreen.
Yeah, was that 1868? What was that?
And you get over there, but if you weren't careful, you'd have a whole corner of the bed of your pickup would have all these little broken ends of tomatoes.
Right.
So now we've upgraded. We just take them across the street,
Yes.
and that's
Well,
much
no,
better.
it's really great because everybody has a pickup truck, and you just put them in the back of the pickup truck, and it's so much easier. But this is your first real big Master Gardener event that
Yeah.
you've been a part of.
More or less. Yeah, I've been to the plant sale before. This is my first time seeing the plant sale from the inside out. But I also, my kind of big introduction to the Master Gardener Program in community horticulture was actually at the Spring into Gardening event, which was in March, which was another really wonderful event that Master Gardeners are involved in. And so between these two events this spring, it's really given me a good opportunity to see all the wonderful things that Master Gardeners can do.
Yeah, and what do we have left, though? I think that those are our big things, right? That this is all that we have to offer, or something. Or what else do we have to offer?
Well, this summer is going to be the Oregon Master Gardener Association Mini College, which will be in Corvallis. So that will be a good event there's a lot of different educational components to that, different seminars and workshops, hands-on events that Master Gardeners and the public in general can go down and learn about different things involving gardening. So there's another good opportunity that will be coming on the horizon.
Yeah, and we talk about we're constantly talking about the Master Gardener program on the radio, obviously. But what does it do for you? What does it mean for you, the program itself? What do you see as the vision for it?
For me, it's really a way to help extend my influence, more or less, in just the Oregon State, educational program, and that's kind of my involvement with it. Is that I can kind of help oversee the educational part, and then the Master Gardeners really allow that information to be percolated throughout the community and throughout the state. So it's another way to get more voices out there, because there's only one of me, and by having all these different volunteers out involved with the community, it's a way to help teach people about gardening and gain enthusiasm about what we do.
Yeah, and that's what we usually talk about on the show, is that the Extension Service, the Master Gardeners, we're here to disseminate the scientifically researched and backed information from the universities, and it does really work out well. And we talked about the plant clinic that's over there. I saw that you were at a booth in particular, but you're across from the plant clinic. What are you doing over there?
Oh, yes, we have an educational display booth that's located across from the plant clinic, and so I helped some new trainees as well as some veterans put together a booth, and it's about providing habitat for beneficial insects. And so we had 4 insects that we focused on, actually, that are kind of visible in the garden and that are beneficial for your yard. We had ground beetles, we had syrphid flies, or hover flies is another way to put their name. We had ladybugs and then lacewings. These are kind of commonly seen insects and things that people may not realize that are actually good for your garden. They can be predators for...
And that's the reason they're good for them, right? Is
right,
because they're
exactly.
predator, they eat the bad bugs.
Exactly. So the ground beetles, you may not see them. They tend to kind of be out at night, but they kind of search around the ground. They can eat slug eggs and slugs and that sort of thing.
See, that's your thing, Ray. They get rid of your slugs for you.
Oh, if I could put a condo up for those little guys, I would.
And that's what we have, some educational materials at the booth that will tell you how can you attract ground beetles to your yard. And so you can set up your own hotel and help keep those slugs at bay. But and there's also, of course, lady beetles, which people are pretty familiar with already, that they're larvae, which a lot of people don't recognize. They kind of look like little alligators, in fact. And so, a lot of people will bring them into the clinic and they'll say, what is this insect? What do I do to get rid of them? When in fact, you don't want to get rid of them. You want to encourage them. So something like that can help people identify that these are good insects that we want to keep in our yard. Lacewings are another thing where their larvae, they have kind of pincers, in the front of their heads, and they will, go and eat other insects that cause problems, such as aphids or that sort of thing in your yard. And then the syrphid flies they look kind of like bees, but in fact they're not bees, they're flies. And their larvae as well will eat aphids and that sort of thing in the yard. And
are those the ones that their wings are just constantly moving really fast,
yes,
and they're almost like a hummingbird bee or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. And so they need, their larvae will eat one thing. Their larvae will be predatory on other insects in the yard, but the adults need a pollen source or nectar source. So we actually have, in the educational display, a little planter that we are raffling off. So everyone can put their names in the raffle. You don't need to be here to be present to win. And you can win this habitat for beneficial insects. There's a lot of, alyssum is a good plant that will attract things like syrphid flies. And so they're a good pollen source or nectar source for them. And then they'll provide this extra food source that a lot of these insects need to be able to live in your garden and do all of their life cycle and be present for when a next insect problem, aphids, that sort of thing, arrives in your yard.
Because that is part of being the gardener. It's not just planting the cucumbers, planting the tomatoes. If you want to have that biodiversity, you've got to take into consideration all of the other insects and the other things that have to be there for it.
Absolutely.
And we do have alyssums here for sale also, too. I think that I've seen them here, too. But thank you for coming in. Thanks for talking.
Yeah.
You are going to be around, and you're going to be across from the plant clinic, and you'll be wandering around.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here, and I'm trying to be involved and answer people's questions and get to meet everybody. So this is very exciting, and thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That was Heather Stoven, and she stopped by to see us and talk about the Master Gardener program, because we are at the Yamhill County Master Gardener's annual plant sale. Still hustling, still bustling, and it's not just about selling plants, it's also about learning. As she mentioned, we have multiple educational booths here set up to inform the public, because that's what the Master Gardeners are for. They're for disseminating educational information. We're here to answer questions. That's what the plant clinic is for. So come on down, look at our plants, and choose to buy if you can.
Yeah, bring your Visa card.
Right.
Your Visa card, MasterCard, checkbook.
Absolutely. We should probably take a break.
We need to
real
take a little
quick,
break.
Because I'm going to go maybe grab a couple of perennials, because we were talking about the perennials and the annuals and a few other novice gardener terms that are really important. And you are pointing to your coffee that seems to be empty. Shame. Okay, so we're going to take a break right now. You've been listening to The Root of It right here on KLYC 1260 AM.
are perennials in other climates.
In other climate, in the tropical climates, where they don't have climates.
You have that open field yet?
That was good. Everything's fine. Heather's filter. Yeah, she actually started from the because they contacted her. But they wanted
I would need to use the pot and something like that. That would be pretty good.
So when she was asking me about it, she was his name is David. So yeah, she saw camera, she saw Dave, put one and one together, came up with two. This wasn't the answer. Don't be crazy. How big, how small. Every event is important. So, how do you market that? Every event is important.
KLYC. When you pull into the battery, it stays the emergency happening now. I can't have a decision.
Yes, I like it. Did you see that we had the mayor here?
Yeah, video. We were shooting video. One guy has a guy on the website.
How much more time do we have?
It is 9:37.
Yeah. I think we can do 2 hours. What are you doing with that? What is that?
Just checking. I was hoping I read that with that.
That's an atom process. Yes, that's an atom process. That's not too slow to be pulling all of the network and doing all of that stuff.
Yeah. As long as we have a good connection now. Last week, the connection sucked. We had about a tower.
So you're like right in the middle of the network.
We couldn't get a connection. What the heck?
Right next to the trailer? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It was fun.
Well, that's pretty sweet. I'm going to grab a couple of plants. And welcome back. You are tuned right here to KLYC, 1260 AM. This is To the Root of It, and we are live at the Yamhill County Fairgrounds for the 2014 annual Master Gardener plant sale. We have lost Ray for the moment, but I'm assuming he will make it back at some point because, he has to. He has a radio show, right? But I am here right now. I went out there and braved through the crowds, and I was able to find some perennial plants that caught my eye and caught my attention. So let's look at the Nepeta Six Hills Giant. What's really great about the plant sale is it will tell you every plant is labeled, so it's not as though you're having to go around and guess for each one. But this was also catmint, which let's go ahead if you want to go ahead and smell herbs. Usually just lightly squish the leaves. Go ahead and smell, and that doesn't smell pretty at all. It's actually not a good smell. So the other thing that people are coming here for mostly, and that's what the secret to growing tomatoes in Yamhill County, is you get the tomato starts from this plant sale. And I'm looking at right now, this is the early girl. So it looks like it's been in there and growing for over a month at least. Ray has come up here. But this is one of the big selling tomatoes, the early girl. And we have the description here: vining annual vegetable, yellow star-shaped flowers. Of course they are. And it's best in the sun. It's medium-sized fruits and takes 55 days to fruit. So this is well on its way. So still, Ray, welcome back.
Oh, yes. I had to fight my way through the crowd to get to the chard.
You went all the way to the other side, absolutely.
I did.
What's really great about this is I'm talking about the tomatoes right now, in case you didn't know. I've got the early girl right here. And 55 days is what it takes to you get the fruit. That's pretty fast.
Well, yes, and you notice that these have been literally hand-grown, and what just tickles the daylights out of me is it's only 6 inches tall, but look at the size of this stem.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a stem on it like a pencil.
Sure.
It's almost half as big as your finger.
Yes, exactly. And,
can you imagine what this root... Well, here's the root sticking out the bottom of it.
Oh, sure. You've got roots all over the place.
Yeah,
but
so
you're absolutely right. These are all looking, and they do look really healthy. But this, I've got to stick in the ground and make sure that it has... because I'll have fruit with this. If I stick it in the ground a little over a month...
You'll have fruit by 4th of July.
Yeah.
You have fresh maters on your hamburger. You were talking about alyssums being here. Smell these.
Exactly. They're
in full bloom. They're ready to go into your pots or your...
Let's see if I can get a good sneeze going on here, because they're just... Oh my gosh, that smells like honey.
Yeah.
That is a very good smell. And,
it really is.
And so we were talking about, these are really good. This is what those... we've already forgotten the name, those flies.
Hoverflies.
Yeah, they're hoverflies, but she called them a real name.
Oh, dadgummit. Where's Heather when we need it?
Right, exactly. So we've got a whole bunch of these tiny little flowers that you could have these little flies coming around and pollinating and growing even more. That is an annual, though, right? Or is that
these are annuals. Now check these out. This is called Rainbow Bright Lights Swiss chard.
Swiss chard.
And the reason it is because you have orange stems, red stems, yellow stems.
I got these last year at the plant sale, and I let mine go to seed. You don't want to put the dirt over your coffee.
Negative.
So I let these grow. These get really big. These are like almost 2 feet in height, especially if they bolt, which mine did bolt. And but I let them go to seed, and I have a whole bunch of Swiss chard seed of orange variety, of red variety, and I did not eat any of the chard at all. Because again, it's one of those plants that's gorgeous. It's a really pretty color that you don't usually find in the garden. So I went ahead and, like I said, I let it go to
is good in stir fry, though.
Yeah, exactly. They're perfectly edible.
Absolutely.
People love them, and I should have probably ate them, but the flowers aren't pretty at all. They're these tightly bound little elongated little flowers that aren't any colors of importance or anything. But I have a lot of those seeds now.
We were talking about perennials and annuals, and there's herbaceous perennials.
Herbaceous perennials.
These are some that grow and bloom over the spring and summer, but they die back in the autumn. And each year, once they die down, you can just trim them off because the root head will again produce next year. Like
That's
hostas.
a good term to know is the for perennials is the root head, because when you're cutting these down, and I've done a few of them, the sativas, no, they not sativas. I think it's a different one. Salvias, yes. Those ones I went ahead and I cut them down really far down, almost too far. But if you cut it down to that root crown to that top there, they'll sprout up. But you can cut down a little too much too with some of them. But those are the herbaceous. What's an example? Can you think of an example off the top of your head?
Well, my penstemon is one that dies back. Most of your lilies are herbaceous perennials because they dry back. They die down. Hostas die off at ground level and then come back from the root ball. Cyclamens, heliotropes are
you
examples.
are a breadth of all of the exampls. Good for you. It's as though you're a master gardener.
Yeah. Yeah, go figure. After 10 years, I actually can start remembering plant names. It's really cool.
Right. But perennials are also, they include trees and they include shrubs. But usually when we're talking about the perennials, we're trying to distinguish plants from the trees and the shrubs. But those are perfect examples of what a perennial does, which is to say it kind of dies when it's too cold for it, and then it comes back to life when it's the conditions are good for it. So those are we do try to distinguish between them. We could, trees are trees, shrubs are shrubs, and then we've got everything else that's exactly like them but smaller.
What's the beauty of perennials, and that's why I like to garden with perennials, is you get a pretty good lifespan out of them, and it's frequent that you can find perennials that are more deer resistant, and so your garden can look lovely at any time of the year with something that's blooming practically every month of the year and still be somewhat deer resistant.
And the 9-bark that we were talking about earlier is a perfect example of that, because that comes back every year.
Yep.
And it does have some really nice white-looking flowers for part of the year. And the deer,
they just kind of ignore
don't
it.
like purple leaves, do they? Is that essentially what it is? I can't think of a purple-leaved plant.
I don't know
deer
why
likes.
they don't. I don't
can tell
understand.
you why. Have you ever seen that beautiful, lovely color of poison oak?
Ah, good point.
Blooms?
That is a good point. And they certainly don't graze on that.
No.
Dadgummit.
Right, exactly. Why can't they get into that? That I would not mind whatsoever.
Okay.
So other perennials that we have, I brought this.
Oh,
actually, I'm going to set this down because we actually have a question.
Hey, we actually have a walk-up question. Just a second here.
You gave this recipe over the air, but I'm not sure I got it all right. And I asked it, I asked
and so the question is that we did give a recipe over the air, and it is all Ray's fault if anything has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
So do you remember what the recipe was, Ray? You can name it.
It
verbatim.
is for weed killer, herbicide.
Herbicide.
Yep, I'll use my big words.
And what was the recipe?
Well,
as you can recall,
it's 1/2 gallon of the cheapest vinegar you can find. Something that's got at least 20%.
Apple cider vinegar is what you recommended.
Yeah, the $1.97
$1.97
a gallon stuff is
Yes.
perfect. And then you put in 1/2 cup of salt, just regular table salt, and you mix that up until you actually see the salt disappear.
All right.
Really increase the saline content of the vinegar.
We're looking
So
to
now you got
the mixture.
Yeah, now you got some good stuff going on. Then you put in a tablespoon of any kind of dishwashing soap, because that's going to help this stuff stick to the plants.
Okay.
And then you want to be really careful where you spray this. I mean, it's good for sidewalks and driveways and more open garden beds, unless you're
But
a really
she
good
came
shot.
looking for you, Ray. So there's obviously a question here.
No, I wasn't sure.
We're gonna have to put the mic
Oh,
right
I'm
there.
sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I wasn't sure where the 20% come in.
Oh, that is the percentage of acetic acid in the vinegar.
In the apple cider vinegar.
In the apple cider
Okay.
vinegar. And someplace on the label it should say X percentage of acetic acid, maybe on the back,
Alright.
on the contents list, and it'll say acetic acid. But if you can't find that, don't worry. Just make sure you get the cheapest stuff, because that's probably going to be the highest acetic acid available.
All right.
Because it's the less tasty, right?
Yeah, it's it's your cooking vinegar.
Right.
Right.
Not
Okay.
not your good balsamic salad vinegar.
Okay, I
No.
won't use that. That'd make it very expensive, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes, it would. Yeah,
It's like
you're not trying to make the
we're like-
plants happy. You're trying to make them dead.
Right.
Okay,
Dead is
All right.
good in this case.
that's right.
And then be very careful where you spray it, because it also anything green, the salt plus the acidic content of the vinegar will kill whatever you spray it on.
Okay.
So be careful with overspray. If you're going to use it in the yard, just anticipate a little circle of death around the weed.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Alrighty.
We really love your show.
Oh,
In the
thank you.
mornings, Yes. My husband thinks, oh, here goes Ray whacking away at things.
Yeah, my favorite tool is my Black & Decker hedgehog. Oh, yeah.
Don't use a sickle.
Death at the end of a 100-foot cord. That's me.
All right.
Thanks for finding
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you very much. So
Yeah,
it does. Your recipe's out there. It's running wild, and it's good.
I've seen good results in my own garden.
My daughter's trying to give me my cup of
Oh,
energy.
bless her.
Yes, thank
Mabel's so good.
Yes.
But it does, that particular herbicide recipe, it's a killer. So you got to be really careful where you spray it. But
What I really like about is when you first gave out this recipe, you were all geeked up on it. You were so excited. You're like, yes, this is really great. This is really awesome. And then you used it, and you saw how effective it is. And since then, you've thrown out this disclaimer, and it's a really heavy disclaimer.
don't spray it on things you want to live. Don't overspray. Don't miss
Don't do
the
it when it's
fuchsia.
windy because it will drift.
Oh, man, yeah.
Right.
But it is totally biodegradable, and it eventually goes away just fine in a very short period of time.
Right.
It does its job, and then it
Just breaks down.
It just breaks
And just
down.
like most of the things here, it'll break down quicker than most places.
Yeah, it doesn't have a half-life like a crossbow and Roundup and some of your commercial herbicides that really, I mean, Roundup takes like 6 weeks to break down in
Yeah.
the garden.
So what do you do? I mean, because I'm just thinking of that chemically, you've got the phosphorus from the detergent, you've got the nitrogen and the things that it breaks down into don't seem horrible.
No, it's a combination, but when you read on the bag that this keeps weeds dead for a year,
That's the stuff I'm looking for.
you need to know that is poisonous for a year.
And when we talk about, you're absolutely right. I have this dead brown spot.
Yeah,
And,
don't let the kitty roll in
nothing
this
wants
stuff.
to come back into there. Nothing wants to grow into there. It's incredible. So it's just what you have to deal with. But that is a really great recipe to think about and to use. What else do we have here? Because I've got not just another tomato, because this is the pineapple tomato.
Oh yeah, but
It's actually a smaller tomato. It doesn't grow as big because we can put it in comparison to the early girl that I had mentioned earlier. So obviously just half the size, but it's a slower one to grow, I think, and it doesn't actually have the exact date on here. It just says height 6 to 8 feet. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
This little thing is going to get to be taller than you and me.
As tall as that doorway.
Oh my gosh.
If it it's in its best conditions.
If you give it water, if you
and a little bit of fertilizer, a little bit,
a little fertilizer, a little bit of growing help, yeah, and yeah, it's incredible to think about that. But it would be all water. It would be gallons and gallons upon gallons putting into it.
These guys work really well with the A-frame type frames rather than the reverse ones, because you want to have a good sturdy frame, because all you're going to tie to it is the main stem. What's that?
Well, what I'm looking at right now is an erissimum. An erissimum.
Oh, read the whole name. I dare you.
Bressingham bicolor. That's the easy part. It's a Bressingham bicolor, and I'm assuming it's a bicolor because it has the purple and it has the maroon purple in it. This is also a perennial, so what we were talking about earlier, the cutting them down to the root crown. This thing, it blooms, it grows, all of this stuff dies. You go snip, snip, and then next year it grows up even bigger and wider, and then it dies. And it looks like it's got a little bit of the stragglers. I call them suckers.
These will become a fairly sturdy woody stem.
Right.
And
because right now it's green and it's a little soft, but you can even feel it throughout the summer, and even when it dies, especially it'll get really hard, really brown. But next year, then you'll get the green stuff growing off from that dark brown stem.
And they do have a tendency. One of their gifts is that they'll bloom all summer long.
Oh yeah.
When all these guys bloom out, you give it a good shot. And then when these start to die off before it goes to seed, you just trim it off right here, and the next flowering head will come right out there.
You're absolutely right. You can even see where something else is coming out right there, isn't it?
It's already getting ready to produce the next flower head, and you just trim this one off, and in a couple of weeks, boom, you got another.
Yep.
More
down
things.
at these nodes, it looks like you're looking at the same thing. They're just gonna keep multiplying and multiplying. Yeah, that one I pulled up earlier while you were gone, Ray. And it was called catmint, but if that's the case, I didn't appreciate the smell of it. However, it's one of those leaves that's the soft velvety leaves, and again, it's perennial. You can tell that it's going to have those woody stems in between each node. You've got the new growth coming out of there, but boy,
is this what you call it? Catnip?
Catmint.
Catmint?
Right. Catnip, I can actually stand the smell of. This actually smells like the back end of the cat.
Ooh! Wrong end of kitty.
I'm pretty sure that it's not there for its scent. It does have flowers, and that's probably what makes it so pretty. But one of those things that you can easily lose yourself looking at all of the different kinds of plants out there. But we should probably let's take a break now.
Let's take a little break. There's still lots and lots of plants. They have not even really brought much up from the ground floor.
You can see the sun through the clouds right now too. So the vendors that are outside, they're also available.
People have shadows.
Right, you can see shadows.
That is cool.
It's incredible. But we are down here at the Leslie Lewis Pavilion at the Yamhill County Fairgrounds for the annual Yamhill County Master Gardener
2014 Yamhill County Master Gardener Annual Plant Fair and Plant Sale and Vendor Fair.
There's a vendor fair in there, but more importantly, also you're listening to KLYC 1260 AM right here. Keep it tuned.
Cheerio. Yes. Back in the far corner back there. In fact,
I like the music.
I like the music. Yes. Yes. I think that'd be a good idea. Let me show you where the food's at.
Nope, I pulled the price tags out. Okay, I got 3 boxes of rush inside. Yeah, I've had fun. It's been a great day.
Spread over there too. I know that feeling. Want a muffin. Let's go in and then we'll go in this one. Yeah. 2 ladies. Great. Good. Get them up. Is that done?
It's about 3 feet. Very hardy.
Is that the yours for every person on your own? Okay?
Right. Mostly it's just it's not everywhere. But it'll keep you struggle. This is a ball, so
Okay, we have a 4-minute song. We're going to come back and say that we're going to be back. But
Okay, I'm going to go take these back and maybe get another sample or two.
Back where it belongs.
You'll make it right.